A large crack has been found in the hull of a ship that limped into the port of Thunder Bay over the weekend. Good evening and thank you for joining us. An underwater check of the bulk carrier, the Michipicoten, has determined that the ship did not hit bottom or strike an object on its ill-fated journey across Lake Superior.
The damaged vessel is now moored at Kiefer Terminal after taking on water near Isle Royale this weekend. Jonathan Wilson is following the story and joins us now in studio. John.
Thanks, Ryan. The initial investigation has found that the Michipicoten experienced a 13-foot crack in its hull, and that's what caused the loud bang heard by the crew on Saturday morning. 11 people were rescued off the ship, while the remaining crew stayed aboard to help pump water out of the vessel and keep it moving towards the port of Thunder Bay. The Michipicoten could be seen entering the Thunder Bay harbor on Saturday evening, listing to one side, as local tugs helped escort the doomed vessel through the breakwall. Port Authority CEO Chris Heikkinen says they got the emergency call on Saturday morning with a request for assistance.
Yeah, we received a call that the vessel in question was needing a place for an emergency berth, essentially, and that it had been taking on water.
So we immediately launched a boat out of one of our small boat stations in Bayfield, Wisconsin, as well as a helicopter from Air Station Traverse City to get on scene.
Lieutenant Joseph Snyder with the U.S. Coast Guard says their first priority in situations like this is the safety of the 22 crew members on board. 11 of them were rescued by a ship operated by the Isle Royale Park Service, but because the flooding of the ship was brought under control and no one was hurt, a full evacuation was not required.
Like I said, priority one is always going to be safety of life at sea. And again, thinking forward to a possible worst case scenario, you would much rather be saving 11 people from the freezing waters of Lake Superior than 22 people.
The Michipicoten had left two harbors with a load of taconite pellets bound for a steel plant in Sault Ste. Marie. The GPS track of the ship shows it suddenly veered north after taking on water and headed towards Thunder Bay. It's now safely moored at Kiefer Terminal.
We've made arrangements for the vessel to be able to stay at Kiefer for as long as is required. I understand that some preliminary assessment has been taking place. They've sent some divers down to assess the situation.
The U.S. Coast Guard and Transport Canada are working together to conduct a marine casualty investigation. The TSB says that probe has now determined the hull damage was not caused by the ship running aground or hitting a fixed or floating object. Instead, the 72-year-old ship sustained a major hull failure with a 13-foot-long crack confirmed Monday by U.S. Coast Guard officials. Heikkinen says it's unclear if the ship will be repaired at Kiefer or, as some experts are predicting, that the Michipicoten has taken its final voyage.
I just wanted to make note of the great binational effort that went into ensuring this vessel's safety and the safety of the crew, because obviously that's the number one priority, and everyone made it back to shore safe and sound. So we're just really thrilled with that outcome and happy to have played a small role in this successful outcome.
The owners of the ship, Lower Lakes Towing, have declined to comment on the situation. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
Police have made an arrest in the city's fourth homicide of the year.
39-year-old Joshua Diamond of Thunder Bay has been charged in connection with the death of another local man on June 1st at the Cam River Heritage Park. Lee Noonan joins us live from the Thunder Bay Police Headquarters with the story.
Thank you, Riley. Diamond was arrested yesterday, and police made the announcement here earlier today. They also released the name of the victim as 34-year-old Francis Joseph Valley of Thunder Bay. A Thunder Bay man, 39-year-old Joshua Christian Peter Diamond, has been charged with second-degree murder in connection with the death of 34-year-old Francis Joseph Valley, who was found at the Cam River Heritage Park by a passerby early in the morning of June 1st, according to police. Detective Inspector Jeremy Pearson says police do not currently believe that this incident is connected to the illicit drug trade or any gang activity.
Parties are believed to be known to each other, and there was an interaction that resulted in this incident and subsequently in the death of Mr. Valley.
Pearson says a weapon was involved in the incident, but he will only specify that it was not a firearm. Diamond was arrested on Sunday and has now been remanded into custody pending future court appearances.
We did receive cooperation from members of the public, and I would like to publicly thank all of those people who came forward and spoke to us, either as witnesses or as simply interested parties who felt they may have some information to offer.
And police are asking that anyone who may have seen anything in the area between 1 and 3 a.m. on Saturday, June 1st, to contact them directly or via Crime Stoppers. All right, the OPP's underwater search and recovery team has located the body of a missing canoeist after 2 canoes carrying 6 people capsized on a lake in Quetico Provincial Park last week. The body of 25-year-old Grant Smith from Indianapolis, Indiana, was discovered yesterday afternoon. He was on a canoe trip with family and friends and was the only one who failed to return to shore when the crafts capsized. A GoFundMe page has been set up to help his family. David Paxton has officially been appointed as the new chief of Thunder Bay Fire Rescue. Paxton has been the acting chief since Greg Hankio retired in January. He brings a wealth of experience and knowledge in fire rescue services and emergency management. Paxton first became a first-class provincial firefighter in 1998 and was later elevated to the role of deputy fire chief in 2012. Paxton says he plans to continue serving to the best of his ability in the new role while providing vital services to the community. Paxton spoke about being chosen to lead the fire service.
It's exciting. Grateful for the opportunity and the trust. It's a starting point, I guess, for the next few months here as we re-engage and develop and continue to develop the partnerships that exist within the community, and to reinforce our commitment to the citizens of Thunder Bay with the level of service and the excellent team that we have here at Thunder Bay Fire.
Paxton adds one of his key duties will be to continue implementing the recommendations of the latest Strategic Master Fire Plan.
The Ford government is moving to expand capacity in correctional facilities across the province.
The Solicitor General made the announcement this morning. CTV's Siobhan Morris brings us the details.
Good morning.
The government calls this an investment in a system that holds criminals accountable, growing capacity in Ontario jails.
We will be repurposing and reopening the Toronto Intermittent Centre and the Regional Intermittent Centre right here in London for a total of 430 additional minimum and medium security beds.
Those spaces used to be for people serving sentences on weekends. The revamped spots will be added by 2026. 320 of them at the Toronto South Detention Centre, where conditions have been sometimes ugly.
Lack of access to outdoor facilities, often overcrowding, but I think the number one problem is lockdowns that have to do with staffing.
The Solicitor General plans to send more help to the front lines.
These efforts will be supported by hiring up to 200 correctional officers.
That figure could include nurses and other support staff too. Not just in Toronto and London, but also at jails being added and expanded in Eastern Ontario.
Hopefully it'll mitigate some of the challenges that we're seeing, not just with the overcapacity across the province, but with the violence that we're seeing against staff.
At least 22 people have died at London's Elgin Middlesex Detention Centre in the last 15 years. In the fall, Ontario was ordered to pay $33 million in damages over violent and unsanitary conditions in that jail.
I had a broken jaw in 2 places and bled out, almost died in there.
While today's announcement may relieve some overcrowding,
is it a step towards making things safer overall, or having a system that helps people come out of custody in better shape than they went in? I'm not sure.
The real problem, Dudding says, is that 82% of people in Ontario jails are waiting for their day in court. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association has unveiled a new regional economic plan with a focus on growing the Northwest over the next decade. It highlights the importance of the 37 municipalities working collaboratively to identify and tackle needs here in the region. NOMA has set out 15 goals for Northwestern Ontario to achieve over the next 10 years, including increasing access to skilled labor, improving the quality of life, and improving access to affordable housing. NOMA President and Shunya Mayor Wendy Landry says the plan is a roadmap that demonstrates to all levels of government how unique the region and its needs are. She adds that by sharing the plan, residents can see where the communities are at and where they need to go.
I think that the important part is that this is a live document, so it will change over time. It won't look the same, but it'll be a guide and it'll be a commitment for what we're going to do for the Northwest when, you know, some of us are not at the table anymore and there's other people there. They will see the hard work that was put into this. And it's good for municipalities, governments, agencies, like I said, to take a look at it to see where they can play a part, where our strengths are, where we can really grow in certain areas of our municipality.
The action plan can be found on NOMA's website.
With the wind and weather just right yesterday, kites were flying high at Chippewa Park for the city's 41st annual Kite Festival. Returning to the park after 5 years, the festival brought out over 1,000 people who were either taking part in the summertime activity or watching the dozens of kites, all shapes, sizes, and colors soar through the air. Visitors were also able to enjoy some more grounded activities like bouncy castles, crafts, food vendors, and the park's carnival rides. Special events developer Karen Kadolf says after being away for so long, they were excited to be back at Chippewa.
People were coming out really early and it was really great to see everybody come out, and I was excited if that was it, then that would have been okay, and they just keep coming, so this is really nice. The events are really important because these are free community events. It's really nice to kind of get people back out together again. With the pandemic, you know, we all had to stay inside, stay away from each other. So it's really nice to see, you know, you get people where you're, oh, hi, how's, you know, I haven't seen you in so long. So it's really nice to kind of see different people make those connections and have everybody come out to these really great inclusive events.
More information about the city's summer programs can be found on its website.
Local motorcyclists gave back to the community yesterday with a charity ride to Silver Islet. The first annual Rough Ride was a fundraiser for Northern Reach Rescue Network. Founded 10 years ago, that organization helps support people in Thunder Bay and First Nations communities by providing access to veterinary help and animal care advice. The network also partners with remote fly-in communities to help surrendered cats and dogs find their forever home. The inaugural Rough Ride saw about 40 bikers make the 90-minute journey to Silver Islet. And while they didn't have a specific fundraising goal, Northern Reach Network volunteer Pamela Cowie says it was amazing to see all the support.
Keeping the organization running financially is a big challenge for us, so it's great to have the money that's being generated today through the event, but it's also really nice for all the volunteers to feel the support that's coming from the biker community.
Myself as a rider and everyone else involved today, we're just generous people. We're involved in charities and community events all the time. It's just important to give back and be part of such, especially this organization, and bring awareness to it.
Donations to Northern Reach Network can be made on the group's website.
Over 50 busloads of school children were brought to the Port Arthur Stadium today.
It was the first Border Cats school day game of the season with a very big turnout for first pitch at 11 o'clock this morning. Justin Hardy was there.
The stands at the Port Arthur Stadium were packed on Monday with students from all over the city. The Border Cats School Day Games are designed to offer schools a chance to get students out in the sun and have a fun and engaging day with Thunder Bay's local team.
These types of games are super special for our organization. It's great seeing all the young fans come out, young kids. You know, a lot of these kids or students may never have been to a game before. So this is a great opportunity for us to showcase our sport, our team, our game to these kids. And it's just it's a beautiful day, sun is shining, and I guess that'll beat being in a classroom any day, right?
An afternoon out of school isn't the only upside for these students. Many in attendance were thrilled to be able to go with their friends to watch their favorite sport. What do you guys love about baseball?
I don't know, everything is great. For me, I really like playing backcatcher. Yeah, just everything.
I don't play it, but it's a cool sport.
Yeah. It seems fun. I'm familiar with baseball. My brother plays baseball. I used to play baseball. I don't know a lot about baseball, but it's a fun game to watch.
What do you guys love about baseball?
Like the food. The food. It's a really fun thing. Ah! It's just really fun.
Over 2,000 students from 21 different schools attended Monday's game. The Border Cats hope to see just as many students out at the next school day game on June 19th. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
Oh, and what a beautiful day to have a baseball
Yeah,
game,
it was
especially.
good.
They looked very happy.
They looked like they were having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Fiona, the sun was shining. I mean, they can't complain.
No, you really can't. Even though it was very cool in the early morning hours, we had a gorgeous start to the week, a high of 23. That's after starting at a low of 2 Celsius. Winds were moving around a bit, started out from the north about 12 to 15 kilometers an hour. By the afternoon, they were coming in from the southeast, but loads of sunshine. Across the region, it was a cool night for the majority of the locales, especially to the west. Temperatures flirting with the freezing mark there, a low of 1 in Red Lake and 2 in Fort Frances. But you can see beautiful sunshine in the fort, mainly sunny in Red Lake, low 20s. As you move all the way through to Greenstone, it was actually on the north and eastern shores of Lake Superior that the overnight hours were fairly mild, fairly seasonal, but it just didn't warm up. In fact, Sault Ste. Marie at 13 Celsius, that's the high for today, and that's all just because of the wind coming off the lake. Now, here in the city of Thunder Bay, we are going to see slightly milder overnight temperatures. We'll drop down to 6 under clear skies. Winds almost non-existent, about 5 kilometers per hour from the south. And as we look into the rest of the week, well, basically, if you think about last week, we're going to see a lot of that again this week. Beautiful day today, but we are going to see a mix of sun and cloud for the rest of the week. Could be quite cool on a couple of the days. And there is a threat of rain returning pretty much all week. So a little bit of everything for another week in a row, but all in all, it's going to help the plants. I'm focused on the plants.
Yeah, we got to focus on the positives there, Fiona, and hopefully people get a chance to go out and enjoy the beautiful temperatures out there today. All right, when we return, we'll focus our attention on national politics. Despite some concerns from doctors and some business owners, the federal government is moving ahead with its proposed changes to the capital gain tax. We'll have details on that and more when your news hour continues right after the break.
This is a moment when Canadians should be watching closely what happens in the House.